What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is February 17th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a great day wherever you are, and right now, as you can probably tell, I'm not at my home back on the East Coast. I'm currently on the West Coast in Seattle, Washington for NeoDevcon. It's been a really great conference so far, and in fact, in the video, I've got a lot of great interviews that I'm going to be showing today in the daily update from some of the high-up people at Neo. So if you guys are interested in that, please stick around. It's going to be pretty exciting stuff. And along with that, we have a few other topics that I want to talk about. I want to kind of keep crypto focused today. There's really two things we'll discuss. I'll give a brief summary of what I'm analyzing over Bitcoin, and then dive into, obviously, a topic that I think a lot of people want my response on, which is what's been going on with the delisting of some cryptocurrencies, predominantly Substratum, on Binance, and to provide some thoughts on that as well. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and jump to the point here. For Bitcoin, in regards to current price action, over the past few days, we've seen these two small, like, $100, $50, $100, jumps in price, and then an immediate, after 15 or 30-minute period, drop and decline. And I think this is, again, a good signal, guys, that we're not only seeing continuous resistance for the past few weeks in Bitcoin's price, but this is the same exact trading we've been seeing where people on BitMEX are manipulating the spot price on normal exchanges and leverage trading off of it. And it's the reason why I don't day trade in this market. It's the reason I don't try to speculate. Unless I'm in a bull market and there's immense liquidity, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to manipulation. And that's why I've said that the trend that we've seen of people going to BitMEX in these markets is not good. So I would say not to try to focus on these short-term cycles. Focus on the long term, and focus on doing some research on some projects that are underestimated and actually have new technology. That's why I've been getting excited about Mimblewimble and all kinds of stuff. So don't mean to ramble on, but that's generally what I'm thinking. I think we're going to see a double bottom, and if anything, we actually might test 3,000 as a big even level to find support. So going on here, let's go ahead and talk about this topic of Substratum. Now, you guys know I have not only been a long-term fan of Substratum, but I understand there are the controversies around it, so some people are going to assume that my opinion is biased on it. Whatever. You have to take it for what it is. So there's been a recent delisting of not only Substratum, but also Salt and I think Cloak. Those are really the three names that I remember looking at when I heard about the delisting announcement off Binance. And as you all know, Binance is a very prominent exchange. In fact, some of these cryptocurrencies dropped very dramatically after the Binance delisting because it's one of the major liquidity gates for these altcoins in this case. Now, it's very important, whether you've invested in Substratum or not, to not look at this in a black and white way. This has little to nothing to do with the actual fundamental value of Substratum or Salt as a project. The fundamentals are completely separate from Binance doing this, in my opinion, because if you actually look over the reasoning for why Binance delists these coins, you can make a lot of arguments that Salt, a platform that has functioned, where you are able to actually put up your crypto into basically locking up your funds like most of these crypto lending platforms and earn interest off of it, it has been working. If you look at Substratum as a team, they have a full team in office that I've been to multiple times, that I've seen them actually coding and developing, and not to mention has broken through the firewall of 3 major nations that censor content from their citizens. These are some projects that have actually built real utility in the crypto space, whereas I see a lot of these protocols still focusing on fixing certain issues and not delivering on anything. And to see these delisted, it kind of threw me back. Now, here's the thing that really throws me back. I've referred people to Binance before as a platform and using it as an exchange because it does provide a lot of a vaster range of altcoins, and it does provide liquidity. The problem is that I think their delisting process was really unprofessional. It's one thing to eventually have to announce to the public that you're delisting a project in this case. That's understandable. But to not give the team any fair warning or reasoning as to why that's happening as they do it or beforehand is extremely unprofessional. It really is, because you're talking about delisting something that has a community of thousands of people that is just on the same level of whether or not it's a security as any other cryptocurrency token, and actually has real operations. It's very sad, not to mention, as Substratum is getting very close to actually launching its product and actually launching a bit of the ability for people to earn on the Substratum node. So again, I'm very disappointed in the decision. And for those of you who are invested, I'm really sorry about it. I like Substratum as a project, and I think this doesn't test the fundamentals. Now, there are some things as well that I do disagree with, and I think as well that if I were to have headed up Substratum, that I would tell Justin and the team that I disagreed with. For example, the trading of ICO funds. This has been something that people continuously bring up and say this is why Binance delisted it. Now, in the case of the ICO, do I think it would have been better if they got the funds and they just simply took it to OTC and sold the ETH and have a nice balance of cash and know how long they're going to be able to sustain themselves? Yes, and that's what I would have said to Justin a long time ago. I wish they would have done that, but you know what? Projects make mistakes. at least in the fact that they're being transparent about it. And at the same time, I don't think that's enough reasoning for Binance to delist an entire project with knowing some of the sketchy stuff that goes on in crypto that far outweighs something like that, and on projects that have built little to nothing or proven any utility or value. So that's my major point, guys, on it. Again, it's a terrible scenario. Trust me, I hate seeing this happen. But again, it's not something you should rail on Justin or the team for, in my opinion. If that's what you want to hear, if you want to hear my opinion, I don't think it's really their fault. I think it has to do with an exchange that has a very terrible and much needed to improve upon way of listing and delisting projects and being more transparent as to how they operate. So that's my opinion on it. It's as much as I can say, guys. But going on to talk about NeoDevcon. I'm excited to share some of these interviews with you all. I got to sit down with two really nice individuals for day one, and we've got day two coming tomorrow. I get to sit down with Tamar Salant as well as Johnson, who are two very prominent figures on Neo Global Development. And I got to learn about not only the community growing side of getting users in the community, not just developers, but along with that, hearing from Johnson as well a little bit about the vision of Neo and just some really interesting stuff that I've been waiting to ask for a while. And tomorrow we'll have an interview as well with Da Hung Fei, which will be a part of the Dashcast. I will try to get it up tomorrow. If I can't, it'll be coming quite soon. So either way, stay tuned for it, guys. And let's go ahead and jump into the first interview with Tamar Salant.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today I'm here with Tamar Salant, who is the lead of the ecosystem growth management at Neo Global Development. Thank you, Tamar, for sitting down and taking some time to talk.
Thanks, Nick. Great to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, it was last time we talked was back in October in Malta, which is obviously one of the big hubs for blockchain.
Right.
And I got to learn a lot about, from you and also Johnson as well, who's working with the Neo team, a lot what you guys are doing right now. And it's amazing to see. We just saw Don's speech a few moments ago, and he was talking about how they have this Neo 3.0 vision. But I'm really interested to focus on what you're doing, because I think a big component of cryptocurrency ecosystems is the community. And a lot of people still don't get that. But I think Neo's done a very good job of that with City of Zion, with a lot of the developer communities that I've gotten to meet in person. And you're focused in that. So I'd love to know what you're doing on your end with Neo Friends, for example, which is going to be an addition to that for the overall community.
Right. One of the unique things about Neo is we have this amazing, active, global community. We have people literally from all across the globe that are contributing to the Neo ecosystem. If it's through the developer communities like City of Zion, like Neo Research, if it's just independent contributions through the Discord channel or through other channels that we have, and people that are very much engaged and people that really see that vision of a small economy and are really proud of this great and amazing community that we have. One of the purposes of Neo Friends is to create more local, regional, and international hubs for Neo specifically. So we have a lot of people that are, like I said, all across the globe, and they're coming to events, and they're coming to hackathons, and they're coming to meetups. Maybe they're even talking about Neo in their own local community. But we wanted to foster that into something more sustainable and something much more active. We wanted to have a connection with these communities, and we want to give back to these communities. Now, one of the mottos Neo always has is contribute first, reward later. And this is something we're very much focused on as well. A lot of work can be done for Neo, a lot of different tasks, a lot of different activities that our Neo friends will be conducting. If it's translating existing materials, if it's creating original content. And what we're really looking from this global perspective is creating more content in different languages, because we see people, again, from all across the globe, and sometimes it's easier to communicate, and sometimes it's easier to be part of a community that you can talk your own language and you feel that you're part of this a smaller group. Wait, no, scratch that.
It's a pretty big group, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think, Tamar, I think to your point there, the thing that Neo is facing, like every blockchain ecosystem, is this problem. You have all the struggles of building a global community or global brand, so you need to reach so many different communities. But you also, at the same time, you don't have the structure of a traditional company. The thing is, with Neo as the Neo Foundation, as it branches off, you're getting all these very small subsections that are focused in certain areas. And in order to get development done, I think, on the Neo ecosystem, as you mentioned, it's the prove value, then get rewarded. I mean, that's led to, I think, the City of Zion and a lot of these great communities building up in Neo. And I've worked with some of the developers personally. They're awesome people. And so you really find value, I think, especially in this day and age where you have people who want to provide value for a certain vision. So you've got incentives aligned, you've got financial incentives as well, and then from there you can continue to grow. And I think you could take that same model, as you said, and bring that into these ecosystems, because it's not just developers at the end of the day.
And I think one of the greatest things about blockchain and the community that we see with different blockchain projects is it doesn't matter what background you have. You don't have to be a hardcore developer. Obviously that helps, but we have people that are coming from financial industry, from the financial industry. We have designers. We have people that are coming from social science studies. We have people that are coming from all these various backgrounds, and that's what brings value, because people have different skill sets and people have different opinions, and creating this big mishmash, if you will, of different talent is what makes this, I think, very unique. And having these people, again, that are from all across the globe. So maybe you're a very good designer from India, or maybe you're a great blockchain enthusiast person from Mexico. You can still be part of Neo Friends. You can still be part of our community, and we want these people to feel like they're our Neo friends. We want, what Neo is trying to do. That's what's going to help mass adoption, right? I think if we're looking at mass adoption, it's also about the people, and it's about the mindset, and it's about people feeling part of something bigger.
Well, in that case of becoming something bigger than yourself and working with other projects, how do people get involved with Neo? Like, I think a lot of people always wonder about that first step, like becoming a developer, or not even that, just being a participant and helping get the brand out there,
right,
and contributing in some way. How do people do that for Neo?
So I think if we're looking at Neo, I will classify it as two types, maybe, of getting started with Neo ways. If you're a developer, the Neo Discord channel is the best way to start. Neo.org is the website with all the technical information. You can download, your own SDK kit, start playing around with it. Our Discord channel has all of the devs from Shanghai team and from the different developer communities as well, answering questions, helping. And what we also see is this knowledge that's kept in these channels, that community members that maybe are familiar with a specific question are giving advice and helping each other out. So Discord channel, I'd say, is the best way to start if you're a developer. For community members that are not developers or developer-ish, also the Discord channel will be having probably a server as well for Neo Friends. Reach out to anyone from the team, basically. We will be finalizing exactly the registration process in the next couple of weeks, probably. Part of it is also, making sure that people who want to join Neo are doing it from the right intention, right? People who want to be active, people who will not use this title to shill or to take advantage, but really fully understand the responsibility of what it means to be a Neo friend and what it means to be part of this global community, and not, again, just to
take things in the short term,
for personal gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tamar, I think this is awesome. I wish more projects would actually focus on the community development. It's something that I always try to press, coming from more of a media background, and trying to help out projects as much as I can. But really like the work you're doing. I can't wait to see Neo Friends start, see how I can contribute in any way.
Would love that.
Definitely, definitely impressed by the work and stuff, and glad to catch up since we last talked to Malta.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today I'm very fortunate to be sitting down with Johnson, who is the General Manager at Neo Global Development. Thanks for sitting down, Johnson. Pleasure to talk to you again.
Thank you, Nicholas. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just like Tomorrow, who we talked to earlier, we met back in Malta, and which has been a big hub for cryptocurrencies. But Neo's been moving forward quite quick. You guys are doing a lot of things, and I think with the vision that Da brought up earlier about Neo 3.0, I think some people are getting really excited about that, even though it's probably a year and a half out. So I definitely want to spend some time to you. You're high up as General Manager of Neo Global Development Capital. What are some of the things that you're most excited about coming up for Neo 3.0?
For Neo 3.0, I think it's going to be more involvement. Simply put, more involvement opportunities for everyone, especially developers. So right now we are in Seattle, and I believe this is a place with many engineers in the our traditional manufacturing industry engineers, and also digital engineers, computer science engineer background people. So this is a perfect place to talk about Neo 3.0 and the possible consequences that Neo can bring to the whole blockchain space. It's going to be huge. It's going to be very impactful, but we don't need only ourselves to be standing in our battlefield frontier. We need you. Actually, we need everyone in front of the camera, the developers, engineers. We love you guys to join us.
Yeah.
And the Neo is open, very open-minded. and we welcome everyone to join.
Well, Johnson, I know I like that Neo's really focusing on having a global foundation of people all over, but I mean, I was just talking to an example from some students who are coming down from Vancouver up north, and you see the efforts that you guys are doing. I know you gave free tickets away for students to come, and I think that's extremely important to build up a talent pool. I think Neo's done it better than most protocols have at the moment, and I really admire the community building you guys have been able to do.
I appreciate your comments.
Yeah. So in that case, as you're starting to get more pools together, and I talked to Tamar earlier about building up communities, what are some of the biggest technical feats that you guys are taking on? You have NeoID with having identity on the blockchain. You have NeoFS in this case, competing with IPFS and distributed file storage. What are you most excited about, and what's, I think, one of the most challenging ambitious things you guys are doing?
Personally, I don't think NeoFS is competing with IPFS. I think it's a win-win situation. Like we are all working together.
Yes.
And we know in theory Neo can also use IPFS, and other blockchains can also use NeoFS, I suppose. I'm not sure about technical details, so we should look into this in a more generic, bigger picture view. That we're just making it working more efficiently, scaling it up, and just to have a bigger goal in our mind. That's I think I'm sure about. I'm not sure about exactly how the competition goes because honestly, it's not on my list.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in an open source community, I mean, you're not really open to compete. It's all open in a case.
Yeah. Once the code is out, it's out.
Yeah.
And everyone knows. So again, I think I joined Neo team after the white paper is done. So I think till now it's February 2019. I appreciate Neo founders open-mindedness that they're really looking at developer communities, empowering developers to build things on their own. Of course, contributing to Neo protocol. That's the essence of how we grow, and that's the difference in my eyes. If I'm going to define the difference of Neo, of course, Ethereum also welcomes developers to contribute, but especially as a team based in China.
Yeah, I think that's cool. You guys have really two focus points here. As a protocol, you have your core team, which, if I remember correctly, is I think about under a dozen developers, 10 people on the Neo core team, who actually are building protocol for developers. And then from there, you guys have built the playing field with those few developers for anyone to come on board. If they have an idea, they can bring it to development and deploy it.
Yep.
And I think that's a really cool foundation. You've also put the seeds in place to expand that and get people, who have all these ideas. I talk to about a dozen people at every one of these conferences who say, I have an idea, I'm debating on what protocol to launch on. And it seems like Neo's done a good job of that. Yeah, I mean, you've got the language flexibility. You guys are working on new technologies that aid in these applications actually operating. So I'm very curious as well. Judson, what is the big picture here that Neo's doing compared to other protocols? I think that's a very big thing that we need to kind of get across.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's a great question. I should be careful about what to answer.
Yeah, Dom might disagree. Be like, oh no, that's 1 point.
Speaking for the protocol itself, I think Neo protocol is. Probably you see my presentation. I call it as Neo protocol is for the developers, of the developers, and by developers. But for the bigger picture, for where exactly we're going, I was asking the audience to close your eyes exactly for 10 seconds and imagine what it will be like in 50 years. I think people come up with different imagination, visuals. It's different. 1,000 people has 1,000 imagination, but I am only sure blockchain technology itself, it will be quite useful, and it can actually help to shape out a better world, I believe. Because right now the whole industry, digital industry, computer industry are building on the traditional database business model. We all know the cons and pros. We choose probably not to talk about cryptocurrency within Neo community. We don't really look at the cryptocurrency perspective. Honestly, I don't know if you get it. It's like we care more for the infrastructure, smart contract, virtual machine level, how a blockchain network works. Of course, there's there's token mechanism, but
Yeah.
but we never headline NEO as a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I think in that case, this goes back to what Da was mentioning, how they originally wanted to build it out. I really found fascinating during Da's presentation how he was talking, and I never knew about this, about how basically there was a Bitcoin talk forum where someone had posted that they wanted to create an ASIC company, a company that makes ASIC miners for cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin specifically, and how he almost did almost this crowdfunding and said, I'm going to give you X amount of shares for X amount of Bitcoin in this mining operation. And he successfully made these miners, but then eventually just ran away. And then I think that's what inspired Da to basically push to develop NEO, which was this idea of having a platform that can, in a sense, guarantee ownership of some sort, or at least solidify ownership and provide a platform for digital assets.
Exactly, digital assets, if they are running on your mobile, running on your desktop servers, in the cloud, it's all digital, but you have to know it's assets and it's also data. And I make this up. It's KYB, know your business, KYC, know your customer. Those terms we know, but nobody say KYD, know your data. So it's coming back to the user or the businesses having the data under control in their own hands, or in some senses, it's their own digital assets. Yes, so exactly the same.
Yeah, and I think one thing that someone had brought to me a long time ago when I was talking about the discussion of security tokens, and I know Neo's delving into that a little bit as well, but this idea of digital asset management, it's important to know that there is a finite limited supply of things, because there was a case, it was Dole Foods, which is a big food producer. A few years ago, they had a problem with their shares where they actually found that there was more shares in circulation than they originally thought. So a lot of people lost money because they weren't real. And I think what you guys are working on with NFTs, not fungible tokens, which are unique tokens, having a guarantee that there's a finite supply and a full ownership over these tokens that you can, again, own yourself and manage. I think that's extremely important in this kind of digital economy where everything's being digitized. To know that there is a finite amount of ownership and a way to prove it.
Exactly, it's about the authentic data, the real thing. Yeah, not overselling.
Exactly.
Yeah. For example, it's hard to prove, but I suppose in the financial world, people already know how to do that. Auditing, auditing regulators, and in the digital blockchain space, probably we want to look at their smart contract. Look at the logics.
Yeah, take the logic from it and then apply it in a smart contract, and then from there you can automate it and have it be peer-to-peer, and there's no need for auditors or third parties in a lot of cases.
However, please allow me to interrupt, and the digital assets or digital security, or some people call it STO, security token offering, that we talk about. I think people have different opinions about it. I do hear a lot of reasonable objections comparing the STO to WinFax. If you know what I'm talking about, Windows fax, using Windows, using compared to send a fax. So it's like a kind of backward, but I think at least for me, for now, looking at NEO and getting more users, more institutions to understand blockchain and use blockchain, this could be a reasonable step.
Just to bring people on board and see the potential of the bigger picture for NEO.
We don't know if digital assets or digital security, how does it look like? Again, my question to the audience, for 50 years later, nobody can picture that. But we are sure if the builder, the asset issuers are following the jurisdictional rules, they are following the regulator rules and issuing assets. So I suppose it's a good play, either on traditional form or on digital blockchain in the blockchain form. So it's totally in the hand of the token issuers or asset issuers themselves. That's what I want to mention. So NEO is acting as a protocol layer to support these use cases.
Well, Johnson, it's an exciting image. I like what you guys are doing over at NEO. I hope to continue to see developments. I can't wait. It's going to be a ways out, but 3.0 when it comes out, can't wait to see it. And I think you guys have a good ambitious window. It's also reasonable. So I'm excited to see what you guys can do.
Well, I can't wait to see the consequences. But I think we should be patient.
Yes.
Let's give the developers some time. Yeah, let them gather. Yeah.
We expect it next week. Come on, we need a Johnson.
Okay. It's available tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, Johnson, thanks for making the time.
Thank you.
Pleasure to talk to you. And again, wish you guys all the best with what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those interviews that I did with Tamar as well as Johnson, two high-up people at Neo. I'm going to be doing some more tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to Da Hong Fei, as I mentioned previously. So stick around for that. I'm going to try to have some good questions for him. If you guys have some things you want me to ask, please leave it down in the comments down below, and I'll try to get to answering them in the interview with Da. But until the next video, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.